Hi there. It's Professor Monty, and we're looking at what happens to negative exponents when we have fractions. Okay, so for non-zero numbers a and b, the property that says a to the negative m over b to the negative n, I'm just going to take a to the negative m on top, move it to the bottom, it becomes positive m power. And b to the negative n on the bottom goes up to the top and becomes b to the positive n power. So the idea is the exponents change sign when we move to the other side of the fraction bar. Okay. And note I said we can't have any negative answers. In our answers, we can't have negative exponents. So let's talk about why this is the case. So I've got a to the negative m over b to the negative n. And remember, we've got a property that says a negative exponent takes the reciprocal. So this is really 1 over a to the n. And this is really 1 over b to the n. No negative exponents anymore. Well, remember, when I have a complex fraction like this, and I'm dividing a fraction, I invert and multiply, or take the bottom one, flip it over, and then just multiply. So it's 1 over a to the m times b to the n over 1, invert and multiply the bottom. Well, now I just multiply across, and I get b to the n over a to the m, which is what we said it was supposed to be. Okay, so this just comes just from regular properties of exponents, specifically the negative exponent. Okay, let's look at an example. Now, I want to simplify this. Again, I can't have any negative exponents in my answer. The negative 3, remember, that's just a negative number. That's not a negative exponent, so the negative 3 just stays there. So I put that in because a lot of times my students will want to flip that upside down. Negative 3 is not the same thing as 1/3. That's only an exponent property. The negative takes the reciprocal. So, for instance, this x to the negative 4 is going to go down to the bottom as an x to the positive 4. The y to the 2 is already positive. It's just going to stay up there as a y to the 2. But the x to the negative 2 on the bottom goes to the top, changes sign to x to the positive 2. And the y to the 5 does the same thing. Goes up to the top. It's a negative 5. Goes up to the top as a positive 5. And now remember what I do here is properties of exponents. Negative 3 is still there. I'm subtracting these exponents. I like to just say 2 of these cancel 2 of these and leave me 2 on the bottom. That's the way I do it. If you want to, you can say, oh, that's x to the 2 minus 4, which is x to the negative 2, which is 1 over x to the 2. And so the x squared is on the bottom. If you want. I just say, hey, I've got 2 more x's on the bottom. Up on the top, I have y to the 2nd and y to the 5th. Remember, we add those exponents. Y to the 2 plus 5, or just y to the 7th. That's my answer. I got rid of negative exponents. Might have a negative answer. Those are always allowed. I just can't have negative exponents in my answer. So that's simplified. So remember, here's the key. If I've got a fraction, or even if I don't have a fraction, I can make a fraction. Because a to the negative power, anything to the negative power other than 0 to the negative power is not allowed. But a to the negative m on the top goes to the bottom as a to the positive m. B to the negative n on the bottom goes to the top as b to the n, and then I just use my properties of exponents to simplify from there. All right, practice these. You'll get these pretty quick. They're quick problems. Don't get them wrong quickly. Get them right quick.